Hello again, YouTube. My name is Bree, and in today's video, I am working in this little tiny A6 sketchbook made for me by my friend Spofgh. And yeah, I'm really struggling today to click my two brain cells together, so I apologize in advance for however rambly and random this video is going to be, but we'll give it our best shot. So this year is off to kind of a weird start. I kind of expected that over the Christmas holiday, where I do have a week off, I would be doing a lot of art again. I thought I was going to have a lot of time, and I was really excited to do more painting, and it never happened. I just was so busy at the end of the year that I wasn't doing a lot of art, and this year's kind of started off in a weird spot too. I did start a daily drawing challenge with some of my friends over at Justin Donaldson's Discord server. A lot of them are going for a full year, which is amazing. I'm only going to commit to a month because the problem for me with daily drawing challenges, they're great, but I get so wrapped up in trying to get something done every day that I don't work on larger things, and I do want to work on larger things. However, since I haven't been drawing or painting very much, I thought it'd be a great way to kick myself back into the habit of creating and hopefully come up with some new ideas. And I do have some new ideas and some things I really do want to work on. But now I'm feeling a little out of practice. So this sketchbook session is intended to get me back to watercolors because I've not been doing a lot of it lately. I'm not quite sure the last watercolor painting I did. I'm sure it was whatever I did 2 videos ago, and I can't tell you what that is right now. So it's been a bit. I did do a gouache painting recently, so I am excited about that. Well, that's a spoiler. My spoilers for those of you on Justin's Discord server. If you're in the ATC for the month, I did gouache. There we go. I'm just going to spoil it myself. Go all in. But yeah, otherwise I just haven't been painting very much, so it's a shame, and I'm going to fix it eventually. But all that to say that this was just an attempt to get me back into painting with watercolors because it feels like it's been a generation and a half. So today's video, I'm using my Szmal palette. So going back to the painting itself, I wanted to do something darker, and I was looking at reference photos. If I remember, or if someone reminds me, I will put the link to the reference photo in the comments below or the description. I was looking for something darker because I'm still not great with doing dark in watercolor. It's a lot easier for me in other media, but I don't know. I just don't. So I wanted to do something where I would start off with some of those darker washes and then build up on top of that with the figure itself. And I found this reference photo that was absolutely perfect. I'm not going for likeness, so if you do decide to paint or follow that link, I really mostly looking at the shadows and those forms and how the shadows kind of bleed into the figure, because that really appealed to me. So that's what I'm going for here. And I am only somewhat successful. I do like how this piece came out. Don't get me wrong. I had a blast painting it. But it's just, I don't usually work like this. So I kept forgetting, like at this phase, you can see it's definitely working within the pants and the arm. But as I start to paint over it, I had a hard time maintaining that. So it's something I'm going to practice more and hopefully get better at. The hair, I really wanted the hair to blend more into the background, and it does, but not as much as I wanted it to. So yeah, practice makes perfect. I definitely also have been wanting to practice more with clothing and the folds in clothing, and this presented a really good opportunity for that too. So I had a lot of fun with that in this painting. Basically, all this to say, it's not perfect, but it was a good sketchbook session, and I definitely got practice in some of the things I wanted to get some practice in. So one of the things that's really interesting about this paper is the texture. The paper itself is cold press, but it isn't super textured. So it's a pretty flat paper, but when the paint dries on it, it kind of takes on almost like a screen type of texture. And I'm not really sure why that is. I'm sure it has something to do with the press. But it definitely gives a really interesting atmosphere. And between that and the granulation in the paint that I use, which yeah, a lot of the paints from Roman Szmal that I do have do granulate. It lends itself to this kind of like dreamy atmosphere. So I definitely had considered the paper and the paint when I decided to do this little sketch, and I think it really worked out. I am trying to be a bit more intentional about my paintings this year. We'll see how far I get with that. But those are like just some of my attempts there on this one. But yeah, otherwise, this is not going to be a terribly long painting session. I think in total, this was about 2 hours of film content, and that includes the taping and the paint peel, which, spoilers, the paint peel did not work out as planned, like at all. I don't know if it's the paper or the amount of water I used or the tape itself, but the paint absolutely got up under the tape and even made it to the next page. So, oops. Lesson learned there. I'm surprised the other pages around it had better borders, considering I used tape that typically seems to work less well, and that's why I went with this one this time. But lesson learned. So yeah, this one, like I said, the actual painting itself is pretty simple. There's not a ton of colors, there's not a ton going on. It's a pretty simple form, but I really like this, and I'm hoping I can use this to build motivation to do more, because I want to do more. I am slightly lacking in time right now, but we'll get there. It's already queuing up to be a pretty chaotic year, unfortunately. So yeah, not sure what else to say. I am using my pretty normal art supplies. So I have my Princeton Neptune brush for lifting. Oh, that's something. I like to lift in watercolors, and I don't, this paper, it's not like, it doesn't seem too absorbent. Like the paint, it definitely stays wet for a while, but it does seem to cling onto pigments more. So I am trying to lift at times, and it doesn't seem to lift. So it could also be that the paper is getting a little older because I've neglected the sketchbook too long, but it doesn't seem like it's having sizing issues. So I think it's just, it clings onto paint a little bit more than I'm used to, which made it a little harder to do some of the things I was trying to do, like lift some of the highlights back in the arm, but that's okay. Once again, I need to practice being more intentional. So maybe I get out of the habit of trying to carve away by lifting and just put paint down in the right place in the first place. So we'll see. Otherwise, my other brushes are the Tintoretto brushes for both the mops, the Quill mops. I love those brushes so much, but they are starting to show. This one, the smaller one, definitely starting to get a little notch on the tip. So I have to see if I could straighten it back out, because it's not quite as sharp as it used to be. And then the rigger brush I use later for some of the smaller details is also from Tintoretto. And I really, oh no, hold on. I didn't use the Tintoretto one. I used the Rosemary & Co. one. I think I bought a Tintoretto one. I'm feeling very confused right now because I don't know what my brushes are. Yeah, I clearly have a brush to find, because now I'm realizing I was not using the brush I thought I was, but that's okay. It worked out. It's fine. So, man, that really like threw off any momentum I did have, because now I'm looking at my brush jar instead of at the video. Yeah, so let's talk about this year a little bit. I am going to try to create art goals on a monthly basis and build as I go. I normally set forth some goals at the beginning of the year and then basically forget about them. And it's really easy to push stuff down the line. So my goal for January, like I said, is a daily sketch. I'm just doing, like right now, I have an 11x14 sketch pad, and I'm doing a little portrait every day. So there's going to be 16 portraits on the first page, and I have one left to do. And for that, I'm just like doing Baldur's Gate characters, because I was just wrapping up Baldur's Gate, so it was fresh on my mind, getting that out of my system, and I'm very looking forward to moving on from that. Afterwards, I'm not sure if I'm going to do some clothing studies or animal studies, but just something to keep my hands moving, and try to stay a little bit more motivated. As I move into February, I will pick a different goal. I'm not quite sure what that is yet. At some point, I know I want to try to do a sticker. I also want to do a larger painting, and I have the first one like in my head, so I need to start like thumbnailing it and planning it out. So hopefully that is all. Though I'm going to stay motivated for both of those. I also want to, this is kind of silly. It's like not very important, but I'm overdue for updating the banner on my YouTube page and my like profile pictures. So I do want to come up with something that really works for like how I don't know, something that's me, so I can put that together. But yeah, I'm going to just try to take things like one step at a time. That way I don't overwhelm myself, and see how it goes. So yeah, I also realized like one thing, and lucky this one image kind of met all of my goals. I don't paint glasses a lot, and I wear glasses, so I should paint people with glasses more, and I just don't. So I wanted to add glasses, and I definitely had a hard time painting them, probably partially because of the scale. But yeah, I definitely lost part of the face there too, and kind of went back to try to add it back in later, but I was just really having a hard time with the face. I think it's the size. Also, the weather keeps changing and it's drying out my eyes, and that's not helping, especially when you're trying to work small and film. Yeah. So, what else? I'm still being a big slacker and playing too many video games. I did beat Baldur's Gate, so I felt like once that was over, I could reclaim control of my life a little bit. And then I went back and I played it again because I have no chill. So I played it. I played my Tav run and my Dirge run, and now I'm good. I've got all my trophies. I'm ready to move on. And so then I started playing Spider-Man 2 because I got that for Christmas, and I am really loving that game. I am such a big fan of Spider-Man. It was like, I want to say it was my first comic, and like the only comic I really felt I followed continuously for an extended period of time. So, well, that's not really true, but it's definitely the first one. So I read Ultimate Spider-Man as a kid, and yeah, I'm so happy that Miles Morales has made it into like the mainstream, and he's in the games and the Spider-Verse movies. They just made me so happy. So I'm enjoying that right now, but luckily that's not as long a game. So hopefully when I get like my gaming binge out of my system, I will be making more time for art and reading. Not much on the reading front this year. I am finally getting to Lightbringer by, I just went blank, Pierce Brown. Is that right? From the Red Rising series. I pre-ordered that one and it came out last year. I just never made time for it. I think between like all the reading challenges and everything else going on, I couldn't commit to such a long book. So, and it's not even that long. It's just because it's a darker book. Sometimes it gets a little brutal and it's harder to get through. And then on top of that is like 700 pages. So it's not short, but yeah, I have a reading goal to catch up on all these books I pre-ordered last year because I was that excited to read them and then never read them, because that's not okay. If I'm going to pre-order it, I better read it right away. Otherwise, I could wait for it to go on sale. So hopefully I feel a little bit more caught up on my reading soon as well. So yeah, and one more layer of dark colors, just to try to blend out. This was really a goal of just trying to blend in the hair a bit more, but watercolor, once it's down, it's hard to blend it with new paint. So once again, got to really go into that more intentionally. Overall though, I really like this one. I thought it was a really good sketchbook page. I had a good time painting it, and I like the final look. It's a little different for me, but it makes me happy, so that's what's important. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you stuck it out for all of my rambling, I appreciate it. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're off to a good start for 2024. I'm not going to get used to that anytime soon. But yeah, if you have any goals or anything you're working on, I'd be curious to hear it. So let me know. just whatever goals. Good luck. And that's all. So at this point, my unfortunate paint peel happens, and yeah, I'm still mad about that. Tape peel, paint peel, tape peel. But once again, hope you're doing well and taking care of yourselves. I will be back in 2 weeks with another video that will probably also be a little sketchbook study. But we'll see. So in the meantime, take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.